there's a common trap we all fall into, the belief that we have to feel motivated in order to take action. We wait for the right mood, the right inspiration, the right circumstances. We tell ourselves, I'll start when I feel ready. I'll go to the gym when I have more energy. I'll work on my dreams when life calms down a little. But here's the hard truth. If you wait until you feel like it, you'll be waiting forever. Motivation is fleeting. It's unreliable. It comes and goes like a wave, and if you base your consistency on it, you always find yourself caught in the cycle of stopping and starting, making progress, and then falling back into old patterns. And that's why you have to make a choice, a deliberate, conscious decision to show up no matter how you feel, because consistency isn't about feelings. It's about commitment. Think about the people who have achieved extraordinary things. Do you think they woke up every morning brimming with energy, ready to take on the world? Do you think they never had doubts, never felt exhausted, never wanted to hit snooze and stay in bed? Of course they did. They just didn't let those feelings dictate their actions. The difference between people who succeed and those who don't isn't luck. It isn't even having the best strategy. The difference is that successful people have train themselves to act in spite of their emotions. They've built the habit of showing up, not because they always feel like it, but because they've made a decision to do so. It's easy to be consistent when things are going well, when the excitement is fresh, when you're seeing results, when everything feels aligned. But what about when it's hard? What about when no one is watching, when no one is cheering you on, when progress is slow, when self-doubt starts creeping in? That's where the real test happens. That's where you prove to yourself who you really are. You have to make a decision over and over again that you are going to keep going even when the enthusiasm fades. That you are going to show up even when you're tired, that you are going to put in the work, even when it feels like nothing is happening, because if you only show up when it's easy, you'll never get to where you want to be. It's like training a muscle. At first, it's uncomfortable, it's awkward, it feels unnatural, but the more you push through, the stronger you get, and one day, without even realizing it, you've become the kind of person who doesn't negotiate with excuses. You've become the kind of person who follows through, and that is what changes everything. So the next time you don't feel like showing up, remind yourself of this: your feelings are temporary, but your actions define you. You don't have to feel ready. You don't have to feel inspired. You just have to make the choice right now in this moment to take the next step, because at the end of the day, success isn't about how many times you felt motivated. It's about how many times you made the choice to keep going. And that choice, that's in your hands right here, right now. Now go make it happen. This version expands the first keynote into a full motivational piece while maintaining a strong, inspiring tone. Let me know if you'd like any tweaks. Absolutely. Here's an expanded version of the second keynote. Discomfort is the price of growth, in the motivational and compelling style you're looking for. We are wired to seek comfort. It's human nature. We want things to be easy, predictable, and safe. We want success without struggle, growth without pain, and transformation without sacrifice. But the hard truth is this: everything you want, the stronger mindset, the healthier body, the thriving career, the deeper relationships, exists on the other side of discomfort. No one becomes great by staying comfortable. No one reaches their potential by avoiding challenges. If you are serious about becoming the best version of yourself, you have to stop running from the hard things and start running toward them. Discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that you're doing something right. It's proof that you are stretching, expanding, evolving. And yet, so many people avoid it. The moment things get tough, they back off. They say, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe it's not meant to be this hard. Maybe I should wait until I'm ready. But that's not how growth works. If you want to build physical strength, you have to push your muscles past their current limits. You have to lift weights that feel heavy. You have to keep going when your body is screaming for you to stop. And what happens when you do? Your muscles tear, they rebuild, and they come back stronger. The process is uncomfortable, but that discomfort is what makes you powerful. The same principle applies to everything else in life. If you want to grow mentally, emotionally, financially, whatever it is, you have to be willing to embrace the discomfort that comes with it. You have to be willing to have the tough conversations. You have to be willing to show up when self-doubt is loud. You have to be willing to risk failure, embarrassment, and rejection. Because every time you lean into discomfort instead of running from it, you are proving to yourself that you are stronger than you thought. The problem is that we've been conditioned to believe that if something is hard, it's a sign to stop. But think about this. What if the difficulty you're facing isn't a roadblock? What if it's a doorway? Every single person you admire, every athlete, entrepreneur, leader, artist, they all have one thing in common. They pushed through the discomfort. They stayed in the game when others quit. They kept showing up when no one believed in them yet. They were willing to be uncomfortable for as long as it took because they understood that discomfort is the price of growth. And you have that same choice. Right now, you can let discomfort be the thing that makes you quit, or you can let it be the thing that makes you unstoppable. You can see it as a problem, or you can see it as proof that you're leveling up. Because here's the truth. If you are feeling discomfort, you are on the right path. If it feels challenging, if it feels overwhelming, if it feels like you're being stretched, good. That means you're growing. That means you're becoming stronger, wiser, better. So instead of backing down, lean in. Instead of avoiding the hard things, chase them. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Learn to recognize that feeling, not as a signal to stop, but as a sign that you are stepping into your power. Because the only way to grow is to walk straight through the fire. And when you do, you will come out on the other side unshakable. So don't run. Don't shrink. Don't look for an easy way out. The challenge in front of you is the path to everything you've been asking for. Now take a deep breath and step into it. This keeps the speech powerful, emotional, and direct while making the concept of discomfort relatable and actionable. Let me know if you'd like any refinements, of course. Here's an expanded version of the third keynote: small steps, big impact, in a powerful motivational style. We love the idea of big breakthroughs, the overnight success story, the dramatic transformation, the moment when everything changes. But here's the truth no one likes to talk about. Success isn't built in a single moment. It's built in the small, seemingly insignificant choices you make every single day. We underestimate the power of small steps because they don't feel exciting. We assume that if we're not making massive progress, we're not moving forward at all. And that's where so many people give up. They look at the small actions they're taking, the workouts that don't seem to change their body, the late nights spent working on their dream with no immediate reward, the daily habits that feel repetitive, and they start thinking, what's the point? This isn't making a difference, but it is. It always is. Because small steps compound. Think about it. If you read just 10 pages of a book every day, you'll finish multiple books in a year. If you improve just 1% every day, that adds up to massive growth over time. If you commit to showing up for yourself every single day, no matter how small the action, eventually those small actions will create unstoppable momentum. But here's the problem. People quit before the momentum kicks in. They start something, they put in effort, and when they don't see instant results, they assume it's not working. Imagine planting a seed. You water it every day, but for weeks, nothing happens. No sign of growth, no evidence that your effort is making a difference. Most people would stop watering the seed thinking it's a waste of time. But what's happening beneath the surface? The roots are growing, the foundation is being built, and one day when you least expect it, that seed pushes through the soil and begins to grow. This is how success works. The results you want, the confidence, the skills, the opportunities, the success are all being built in the moments when it feels like nothing is happening. The people who succeed are the ones who trust the process enough to keep going, even when the results aren't visible yet. It's not about taking massive leaps. It's about taking one small step and then another. Because the reality is, massive success doesn't come from one big move. It comes from a series of small, intentional actions that compound over time. The hardest part is trusting that process. It's easy to stay consistent when you can see the results. It's much harder when you feel like you're showing up for nothing. But that's where the magic happens. That's when you have to remind yourself, it's working even if I can't see it yet. Every great athlete, every successful entrepreneur, every person who has ever achieved something extraordinary got there by doing the small, boring, repetitive things that no one talks about. The early mornings, the late nights, the work that happens behind closed doors when no one is watching, when no one is clapping. The difference between people who succeed and those who don't isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's the willingness to do the small things every single day, even when they don't feel like they matter. So here's my challenge to you. Focus on the next step, not the big picture, not the finish line, not how far you still have to go, just the next step. Because if you keep showing up, if you keep taking small steps, if you keep trusting the process, one day you'll look back and realize that those small steps turned into something massive. The impact you're looking for isn't found in one big moment. It's being built right now in the tiny daily decisions you make. So take the step, even if it's small, even if it's messy, even if it doesn't seem like it matters, because I promise you one day it will. This keeps this speech inspiring, emotional, and deeply relatable. Let me know if you'd like any refinements.
Absolutely.
Here's an expanded version of the fourth keynote. You are building trust with yourself in a compelling and motivational style. Trust is the foundation of every strong relationship, whether it's with friends, family, or colleagues. But the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. And that relationship is built the same way as any other, through consistency, honesty, and follow through. Think about someone you trust completely. Why do you trust them? Likely because they have shown up for you time and time again. They have kept their word. They have proven through action that they are reliable. Now think about someone you don't trust. Chances are they've broken promises, failed to show up when they said they would, or given you reasons to doubt them. The same dynamic happens internally. Every time you set a goal for yourself and follow through, you're proving to yourself that you are reliable, that your word means something. That when you say you're going to do something, you actually do it. And every time you break a promise to yourself, when you say you're going to start working out but don't, when you set a goal but abandon it, when you talk about change but never take action, you weaken that trust. And the thing about self-trust is that it's not built through big dramatic actions. It's built through small, consistent choices. You don't need to make a grand declaration about how everything in your life is going to change overnight. You just need to start proving to yourself in small ways that you can be counted on. If you say you're going to wake up early, then wake up early. If you say you're going to eat healthier, then make one small change today. If you say you're going to work on your dreams, then take a single step, just one, right now. Because every single time you follow through, even in the smallest way, you're reinforcing a belief. I can trust myself. I am someone who does what they say they will do. But the opposite is also true. When you constantly break promises to yourself, when you keep pushing things off, when you allow excuses to dictate your actions, you're sending a different message. I can't count on myself. My words don't mean anything. And that message slowly eats away at your confidence, your belief in yourself, and your ability to take action when it truly matters. That's why this isn't just about achieving goals. It's about who you are becoming in the process. It's about shaping an identity, a mindset, a level of self-respect that says, I am the kind of person who shows up for myself no matter what. And let me be clear, this doesn't mean you have to be perfect. You will have off days. You will fall short sometimes. But what matters is that you don't let those moments define you. When you break a promise to yourself, don't use it as an excuse to spiral into self-doubt. Use it as a wake-up call to recommit. Rebuilding trust with yourself is like rebuilding trust with another person. You don't do it with one big apology or one grand gesture. You do it by showing up day after day, proving that your words mean something. And here's the beautiful part. The more you trust yourself, the more confident you become. The more you believe in your ability to follow through, the easier it becomes to take risks, to step outside your comfort zone, to go after the life you truly want. Because when you trust yourself, you no longer need external validation. You no longer need someone else to believe in you before you take action. You no longer need perfect conditions or the right timing or anyone's permission. You just decide and then you do. So today, make the decision to start building that trust, not with big promises, not with unrealistic goals, but with one small action, one commitment you will keep. And then another, because the person you want to become, the version of you that is disciplined, confident, and unstoppable, that person is built through every small promise you keep to yourself starting right now. This version keeps it powerful, personal, and actionable. Let me know if you'd like any tweaks. Of course. Here's an expanded version of the fifth keynote. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Written in a powerful and motivational style, one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is that we need to have everything figured out before we start, that we need to be fully prepared, fully confident, fully ready. But here's the truth. If you wait for perfection, you will never move forward. Perfection is a trap. It keeps you stuck, overthinking, hesitating, doubting. It makes you believe that if something isn't flawless, it isn't worth doing. It convinces you that if you can't get it right the first time, you shouldn't even bother. But that mindset is the reason so many dreams die before they even begin. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself from starting something because you didn't feel ready? How many opportunities have you let pass by because you were afraid of not doing it perfectly? How many times have you told yourself, I'll start when the time is right? I'll begin when I have more experience. I'll take action when I feel confident. But the time is never right. Experience comes from action, not the other way around. And confidence is built through doing, through trying, through failing, and getting back up. No one starts out as an expert. No one wakes up one day and suddenly has all the skills, all the answers, all the knowledge. The people who succeed aren't the ones who waited until they were perfect. They're the ones who started messy. They're the ones who took the first step even when they were scared. They're the ones who understood that done is better than perfect, because perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist. There will always be something you could have done better, something you could have improved, something that isn't quite right. If you chase perfection, you will always feel like you're falling short. And if you let that feeling control you, you will never take the risk, never make the moves, never step into the life you are meant to live. You don't have to be perfect to be successful. You don't have to have it all together to make progress. You just have to be willing to start, to take imperfect action, to put yourself out there even when you don't feel fully prepared. Because here's what happens when you do. You learn, you grow, you get better, you make mistakes, but you also make progress. You fall down, but you also build resilience. You struggle, but you also gain strength. And before you know it, the thing you once thought you weren't ready for, the thing you once thought you weren't good enough to do, suddenly it's a part of you. Suddenly you've built the skills, the confidence, the ability simply because you were willing to take that first step before you were ready. So stop waiting. Stop telling yourself you need more time, more preparation, more perfection. You don't. What you need is action. What you need is movement. What you need is to start right here, right now, exactly as you are. Because imperfect progress is still progress. And the people who changed the world, they're not the ones who waited until everything was perfect. They're the ones who took action despite the fear, despite the uncertainty, despite the imperfections. So be one of those people. Take the step, make the move, start before you're ready, because the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the belief that you have to be perfect to begin. And that belief ends today.